Here's the movie.
Yeah, Anton wakes up.
His parents are missing.
His parents are missing.
Yes. We know as the audience that his parents have been murdered.
By something.
By something or someone.
Yeah, mom gets dragged under the bed. Fred Willard gets... We don't see what happens to him. But
I wish we had more Fred Willard in this movie.
I was really disappointed.
Like,
All of the cameos were very... Last Man on Earth. Have you seen that show?
Yeah.
Every celebrity cameo is like a minute long.
In and out. But
yeah, I love that.
That show does it perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
That show introduces someone and then kills them immediately.
Right away.
And even after like the third introduction of a huge character, you still are like, well, no, I mean, this is John Hamm. They're going to definitely...
Yeah.
Oh, it's Will Ferrell. Well, they're... No. Like every single fucking time.
Every single one. So back to... God, do we have to go through the whole movie? We have to tell the whole movie story?
We don't literally have to, but we'll just tell what it's about.
Anyway, turns out he's the killer. Because his hand is possessed.
Yeah, his hand's possessed by a demon.
And there's a demon hunter they cut to every so often who's like, I'm going to find... Oh.
Do you mean Vivica A. Fox?
She was fantastic in this. She's a demon hunter.
She's just a classic old demon hunter.
Like, literally classic. She's got all the outfits. You have to pretend to be other people.
At one point, I don't know if you noticed this, I wrote this down in my notes. She's got a crow in the RV. There's a crow in her RV.
Inside.
I
do know that because you said it out loud, and so I'm going to write that down. Is that an Edgar Allan Poe thing? Or?
I don't know what that is. It's one shot, and there's a crow in her RV. They don't explain it. Maybe, art department had some fun that day.
What should we do in the van, boss? Yeah, let's have some fun.
Oh, put fucking crow in there.
Do what you want.
So I see on your notes there, the very first
Pentagram. Well, the fucking...
It doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
You know what I'm referencing?
Yeah, Vivica A. Fox has a map in the first act in her crow RV.
She's just got like 6 random points.
She's got 6
to different
points,
cities.
But yeah, it's like a circle.
It's a circle.
A circle on a map, but a circle can just if you're going to connect the dots, you could just do anything in a circle.
Yeah.
And she decides to make it a pentagram.
And her reaction is just like, oh, well, I found it. Can I give you my first thought?
Yeah.
So his parents die.
Yes.
And he just doesn't give a fuck. Like he's
He's a stoner, man.
And then he buries his friends and his parents, and his eulogy is just like, you guys were cool.
We smoked weed.
And then like when he didn't call the police before he found out he was the killer, they're gonna be like, hey, where are your parents? And he's like, duh. And like in a month, you're fucked.
Yeah, but you could argue, he's a stoner.
You
what's
could.
Hey, what are you gonna do?
You shouldn't.
Hey, he's high. There is one thing I would like to point out in this, which I appreciate. There are a lot of movies, especially in this era and like early 2000s, that were weed movies, and they would almost celebrate weed the entire movie, and at the very end of the movie, there was a studio note that was like, oh, hey, we need to make sure that they don't smoke weed anymore, or we point out the flaws of weed.
Yeah.
Like Pineapple Express did it. The whole movie is them smoking weed. By the end, the big conclusion is that Dale doesn't want to smoke weed anymore. He's like, oh, I'm over it. Half-baked. At the very end, Dave Chappelle gives up weed for his real-life Mary Jane, his new girlfriend. He flicks the joint off the bridge at the end.
You really remember the ends of movies more than I do.
Well, I just remember being like, this whole movie was about weed, and at the end you go, but weed's bad, right? Anyway, credits. And you're like, wait, what?
Fuck.
But this movie didn't do it. This movie, weed, literally saves the day. Literally. There is one scene where Seth Green's like, oh, you just need a little Anton time. And he packs up his bowl. And he goes,
I'm through with that. I mean, all I do is I sit around all day. I veg out. I watch TV. I smoke pot.
No Kevin Costner speeches, all right? Let's just go.
Yeah.
So that was a scene where I was like, oh, okay, they're going to say weed's bad. But at the end, no, he smokes weed and that saves the day. So weed's cool.
Weed is cool.
Yeah, hey. Weed's cool.
That's our sponsor.
The dog Duke in this film, who's really just in the first act, he was the same stoner talking dog from Todd Phillips' Road Trip.
I've seen Road Trip.
The old man's outside smoking weed, and he goes,
hey, Jack, have that bitch make me some blueberry pancakes right now.
It's the same dog.
No way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you were talking about the filming locations and stuff like that, and this movie was filmed in the same neighborhood as the original Halloween in Pasadena, California.
That's where I was born.
Were you born in Pasadena?
I was born in Pasadena. Huntington Memorial Hospital, baby.
Holy shit.
That's right.
There are tons of movies that filmed there, including Rob Zombie's later remake of Halloween as well. So
they did it there too?
Yeah, they filmed in the same neighborhood. So the actor that played the severed hand is named Christopher Hart. He's a magician, but he also played Thing from the Addams Family.
Of course.
Right?
Another hand.
Makes total sense.
Hey, if you find your thing, stick to it.
Although, how good was Devon Sawa?
I was gonna
though?
say,
I mean,
we
his physical performance is fucking amazing.
That's the first thing we should have talked about.
It should have
really.
been.
I've wanted to say this whole time that he very much reminded me of Jim Carrey.
There's so many things, like, especially how many times I've seen the movie and watching it again with you, where he's acting, but then this hand is doing other, like, small things that, you know, don't seem like a lot, but like little twitches, or like the hand will look in a different direction that he's not looking. Like,
it's great.
But yeah, Devon Sawa, he was so great in the late 90s, early 2000s, and then his fall from grace. Amanda was here earlier. She mentioned he was the live action Casper. So you remember in Casper at the end when you see the boy version of him?
Oh, that's him?
That's young Devon Sawa.
Really?
Then he did, Idle Hands, Final Destination. Did you ever see SLC Punk?
No.
He was huge, and then I don't know what the fuck happened to him. He disappeared until recently. I heard about this John Travolta movie, and I was like, what is that? Fanatic? And then someone goes, Devon Sawa's in it. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I'll check that out. And then they go, yeah, Fred Durst directed it.
It's just one of those days.
You okay with some music? You like a little Limp Biscuit?
Sure.
You like a little biscuit?
Yeah.
Yeah? Nice and loud? I used to listen to this back in the day. This is hot. Oh my God, that is nice. That is nice.
You know, I was looking that up, and I was like, I wonder how much you got paid for it. Like,
Devon Sawa or Fred Durst?
Durst. Apparently, he did it all for the Nookie. Sorry.
Should we just end the podcast now? Fuck.